Good evening from beautiful Buznica, Morocco. My name is Dianna Lifanica. Some of you may know me and some of you may not. I'm a consultant here in Morocco. Before we go any further, I would like to point out, here you should find an email address and a phone number. The email address is dlifanic@yahoo.ca and the phone number is 212-606-943273. If it is not there or if it has changed, it is because some scammers have gotten a hold of this video and are going to use it to scam people. So pay attention, please. I've had enough with them anyway. Off with that. So today's subject is LMIA and Francophone Mobility Program. What are they? What are the differences? And where do you fall in between them? Okay, so let's start with the LMIA program. The LMIA is called Labor Market Impact Assessment, and it's an initiative from Canada government, and it was meant to help the Canadian economy with jobs that Canadians don't want to do to fill them. So they're lower skilled, lower education jobs. Not saying the people who have them are lower skilled or lower educated. Believe me, some of them are very highly educated. So these jobs are like cashier, food counter attendant, gas station attendant, cleaners, maybe lower class cooks, like for example, if you have a certificate as a Burger King cook or something like that, they can accept that. Yeah. So like I said, they're usually very low skilled jobs, so you don't need a lot of formal training or experience in that. Now, so the process is, which is very difficult, the employer has to take stock of what he needs, and then he has to advertise it for the employees for, I think, 3 months or 6 months continuously, so it can't stop. During this time, they have two files. One is for Canadians and one is for foreigners. So when a Canadian applies, the employer has to go through and see if he's satisfied with them, interviewing them and stuff. If they can't find a Canadian, then they can go to the foreign worker file and start going through them and seeing who qualifies. When they've picked out the crew that they need, they submit it to the government. Now the government, they require like a report. Who did you interview in Canada? Why didn't you choose them? What was the problem? And they want proof that you've advertised it by like accounts, newspaper clippings, whatever. If then the government says, okay, you can bring in foreign workers, the employer then has to send in a job offer to the government, and they have to approve it. If they do, they give an LMIA Annex. This annex is for a worker. So the worker's name is on there and you can't change it. The employer had to pay 1,000 Canadian dollars for that. And at any point, it's not refundable. So if the government didn't give him the authorization, non-refundable. If the candidate doesn't get the visa, non-refundable. Yeah. So the employer has a lot to lose here. Then once that's done, he sends the authorization code to the candidate prepares his file for the embassy. When the candidate gets the visa, then the employer has to prepare airfare for that candidate. And it is not allowed to be recouped from the employer, so he has to take that charge. So already he's paid out 1,000 Canadian dollars per worker and airfare. Yeah. So the LMIA, I think, is capped at 1 year. So the visas are only good for 1 year. And I think you have a limit of up to 4 years to use those LMIA. What I mean by that is that you as a foreign worker can only be in Canada for 4 years. And then after you have to stop, you have to wait a time and then reapply. Okay, so that's the LMIA. Like I said, it's for low-skilled, low-educated workers. I'm not saying that the people are low-skilled or low-educated, because believe me, a lot of them are very well educated, even more than me, doctors, nurses, whatever. So I don't look down on them. They're doing a job that Canadians, we don't want to do, but they're still a necessity in our environment, in our communities. So on to the Francophone Mobility Program. The Francophone Mobility Program is not really an initiative. It's a benefit for the Canadian government. So what's the benefit? They want to bring Francophones to live in the English side of Canada so that they can build Francophone communities so that in time our country will be bilingual, not just in Quebec, all across Canada, so that we actually have 2 official languages. Right now we have 2, but basically Quebec speaks French and the rest of Canada speaks English, not too much French in there. The Francophone Mobility Program was started years ago, and it was meant to bring in higher skilled Francophones to the English side. In 2014, the government, they stopped the program. Not too sure why, but they stopped it. Then again in 2016, June, they reopened the program and revamped it. Yeah. And again, it's bringing in skilled workers to the English side of Canada. So what kind of jobs are there? Now, the list is very long, but if you look up NOC 0, A, or B, you will see the jobs that can be utilized for this program. And there's many, I mean a lot. Unfortunately, the employers really don't know about the Francophone Mobility Program. I don't know why the government doesn't expend more time on it, to promote it more, because then we would bring in a lot more people to the English side of Canada. Okay, so in the last few years, what kind of contracts have we had? What were our workers like? So we've had contracts like cooks, housekeeping supervisors, cleaning supervisors, hotel supervisors, night auditors, bookkeepers. We've had a couple of sous chef positions, cook positions, line cooks, simple cooks, I guess you can say, fast food service supervisors, truck drivers, mechanics. Yeah, and the list, can go on and on. We do get requests from employers we've had them for personal trainers, boiler makers, mining personnel, but unfortunately they fell through because of maybe the employer thought it was too expensive. Yeah. So you have to look to see which program is best for you. If you apply for an LMIA, be sure that the requirement is either English or it's French, because LMIA is for across Canada. It's just not for the English side. So if you're going to Alberta, the requirement would be English. If you're going to Quebec, of course, French will be there. Now for the Francophone, you need French. And you can be requested to do a TCF Canada test. You do need English to talk to our employers, because the employers, they don't speak French, unfortunately. Yeah. So, if you have any other questions, feel free to comment below. I will try to get to them. Do not expect an immigration question to be answered, because I'm not immigration and I don't pretend to be either. Yeah. Anyway, be safe, and I wish everyone the best of luck.